Think you have seen all of Switzerland? Think again. Beyond crowded postcard lake trails, a hidden world most travelers never find waits for you. Most visitors only hit the same 5 overlooks, take the same photos, and leave without touching the real Alps. This journey leaves paved paths behind, stepping off the map into silent valleys walled by year-round snow, climbing peaks no gondola reaches, where time feels frozen. I spent 3 weeks trekking these slopes alone, uncovering the Alps' best-kept secrets. A glacial lagoon that turns bright turquoise just 2 weeks a year, wild edelweiss meadows, no map marks, and a remote village with no cell service that still cuts hay by hand. Get ready to see a side of Switzerland words can't capture. Pack your boots, leave the crowds behind, and let's go beyond the peaks. What if I told you that everything you think you know about Switzerland is only half the story? That beyond the famous peaks, beyond the postcard perfect towns, there exists a quieter, deeper world, a side of Switzerland that most travelers never see. A place where the crowds disappear, where the silence becomes part of the experience, and where nature feels untouched, almost secret. This is not the Switzerland you expect. This is the Switzerland hidden beyond the peaks. As the journey begins, the first thing that changes is not the landscape, but the feeling. The familiar images of busy viewpoints and well-known landmarks slowly fade, replaced by something more subtle, more intimate. Roads become quieter, narrower, leading into valleys that feel less explored, less defined by tourism, and more shaped by time itself. The mountains are still there, of course, towering, powerful, and impossible to ignore. But here, they feel different, not distant icons to admire from afar, but living presences that surround you, guide you, and shape everything around them. Their peaks rise sharply into the sky, often hidden behind drifting clouds, creating a sense of mystery that changes with every passing moment. The air carries a clarity that is difficult to describe. It feels lighter, cleaner, almost sharper, as if every breath connects you more directly to the environment. There is a stillness here, not empty, but full in its own way. A stillness that allows every sound to stand out, from the distant flow of water to the soft movement of wind through alpine grass. As you move deeper into this hidden side of Switzerland, the landscape begins to unfold in layers. Valleys stretch out quietly beneath the mountains, their floors covered in green that shifts in tone with the light. Small wooden houses appear in the distance, scattered across the land as if placed with intention rather than necessity. They do not dominate the environment, they belong to it. There is a sense of balance here that feels almost natural, almost effortless. The way the land is shaped, the way the villages are built, the way life continues without disrupting the surroundings. It is not something that feels forced. It is something that has evolved over time, guided by an understanding of the land rather than an attempt to control it. Rivers move through these valleys with quiet strength, their waters clear and cold, reflecting the sky above. They carve their way through the terrain, creating paths that feel both ancient and alive. Standing beside them, you can feel the movement, the continuity, the sense that this landscape is constantly changing, even when it appears still. What makes this journey different is not just what you see, but how you experience it. There is no rush here, no urgency pushing you forward. Instead, there is space. Space to observe, to pause, to take in details that might otherwise go unnoticed. You begin to notice the way light moves across the mountains, how shadows stretch and shift throughout the day. In the morning, everything feels fresh and defined, every detail clear and sharp. By midday, the colors become more intense, the contrast stronger, and as evening approaches, the entire landscape softens, taking on warmer tones that feel almost unreal. This is when Switzerland reveals its quieter beauty, not in dramatic displays, but in subtle transitions. The way the sky changes color, the way the mountains fade into silhouettes, the way the entire environment seems to slow down as the day comes to an end. And then, as night falls, a different kind of experience begins. Away from the lights of larger towns, the sky opens up, revealing stars that feel closer, brighter, more present. The silence deepens, creating a sense of calm that is both grounding and expansive at the same time. There is something about this hidden side of Switzerland that changes the way you see the world. It is not just about beauty, but about perspective, about understanding that there are places where nature still defines the experience, where time moves differently, and where simplicity holds a kind of richness that is often overlooked. This is not a journey about checking destinations off a list. It is not about moving quickly from one place to another. It is about slowing down, about allowing the landscape to guide you, about experiencing something that cannot be fully captured in images alone. Because Switzerland, beyond its famous peaks, is not just a place to visit, it is a place to feel. A place where every valley, every river, every quiet moment adds to a larger story. A story that unfolds slowly, revealing its depth only to those willing to look beyond the obvious. And as this journey begins, one thing becomes clear, that the true beauty of Switzerland is not always found in what is most visible, but in what is quietly waiting to be discovered. What if I told you there's a valley in Switzerland where waterfalls don't just fall, they seem to float in the air, suspended between cliffs so tall they almost touch the sky? A place where nature feels so perfectly arranged, so impossibly balanced, that it doesn't feel real at all. Welcome to Lauterbrunnen Valley, a hidden world carved by time, where silence, water, and stone come together in a way that feels almost otherworldly. As you enter the valley, the first thing you notice is the vertical scale. Massive cliffs rise on both sides, creating a narrow corridor of green that stretches into the distance. These are not gentle slopes. They are sheer rock walls, towering hundreds of meters above, their surfaces marked by time, weather, and the constant flow of water. And then you see them. Waterfalls. Not one or two, but dozens, cascading from the cliffs in thin, delicate streams. Some fall straight down, powerful and clear. Others drift with the wind, breaking into mist before they even reach the ground. It is a scene that feels alive, constantly moving, constantly changing. Among these waterfalls, one stands out in a way that feels almost surreal. Staubach Falls, one of the highest free-falling waterfalls in Europe, descends from the cliffs like a silver ribbon, its water carried by the wind into a soft mist that catches the light. Standing beneath it, you don't just see the waterfall, you feel it. The sound, the movement, the presence. The valley floor, in contrast, feels calm and grounded. Lush green fields stretch across the landscape, dotted with traditional wooden chalets that seem to belong exactly where they are. Narrow paths weave through the grass, leading from one quiet corner to another, inviting exploration without urgency. There's a rhythm here that feels natural, almost timeless. Cows move slowly across the fields, their bells creating a soft, distant sound that blends into the environment. It is not noise, it is part of the atmosphere, adding a layer of life to an already vivid scene. As you walk through the valley, every direction offers a different perspective. Turn one way, and you see waterfalls disappearing into mist. Turn another, and you find small villages tucked quietly beneath the cliffs, their presence subtle yet significant. What makes Lauterbrunnen unique is not just its beauty, but its sense of enclosure. Surrounded completely by towering walls of rock, the valley feels protected, almost hidden from the outside world. It creates a feeling of isolation, but not in a lonely way, in a peaceful, contained way that allows you to fully experience the space. The soundscape here is just as powerful as the visuals. Water flowing, falling, echoing against the cliffs, wind moving gently through the valley, the occasional distant call of birds. It all comes together to create an environment that feels immersive, where every sense is engaged. As the day progresses, the light begins to transform the valley. In the morning, soft sunlight touches the tops of the cliffs, slowly moving downward as the hours pass. By midday, the entire valley is illuminated, every detail sharp and clear. The waterfalls shine brighter, the greens appear richer, and the contrast between light and shadow becomes more defined. Then comes the evening, when everything begins to soften. The sunlight turns golden, casting warm tones across the cliffs and fields. The waterfalls take on a different character, their white streams glowing against the darker rock. It is a moment that feels calm, almost reflective, as if the valley itself is slowing down. And as the sun sets, the transformation continues. The cliffs become silhouettes, the waterfalls fade into soft lines of motion, and the sky above shifts into deeper shades of blue. The valley grows quieter, the movement slowing, the atmosphere becoming more intimate. Night in Lauterbrunnen is a different kind of experience. Without the brightness of the day, the scale of the cliffs becomes less visible, but the presence remains. The sound of water continues, steady and constant, creating a sense of continuity even in darkness. Looking up, the sky reveals itself in a way that feels almost unexpected. Stars appear between the narrow opening above the valley, framed by the towering cliffs. It creates a view that feels both vast and enclosed at the same time, a rare combination that adds to the uniqueness of the place. There is something deeply calming about Lauterbrunnen. It is not overwhelming in the way some landscapes are. Instead, it draws you in slowly, allowing you to notice details, to feel the environment, rather than just observe it. It is a place where time feels less important, where movement is not driven by urgency, but by curiosity, where every step reveals something new. Not because it is hidden, but because it unfolds naturally as you move through the space. And as you stand in the middle of this valley, surrounded by cliffs, waterfalls, and open sky, one realization becomes clear: that places like this are not just rare because of how they look, but because of how they make you feel. Lauterbrunnen is not just a destination. It is an experience of balance, of water and stone, of movement and stillness, of scale and intimacy existing together in perfect harmony. A place where nature does not compete for attention. It simply exists, and in doing so, becomes unforgettable. What if I told you there's a place where one single mountain has the power to define an entire destination? A place where every street, every view, every moment feels shaped by its silent presence? A place where time slows down, cars disappear, and the air carries a sense of purity you don't often notice anymore. This is Zermatt, home to one of the most iconic peaks on Earth, the legendary Matterhorn. Arriving in Zermatt feels like stepping into a different rhythm of life. The absence of traditional vehicles immediately changes the atmosphere. Instead of traffic and noise, there is quiet movement. Electric carts glide silently through narrow streets, and footsteps replace the usual sounds of engines. It creates a calm that feels intentional, almost protected. The village itself is a blend of tradition and precision. Wooden chalets, some centuries old, stand alongside carefully designed modern structures, all built with a respect for the environment that surrounds them. Nothing feels out of place. Every detail, from the layout of the streets to the materials used in construction, seems to follow a quiet understanding of balance. But no matter where you stand, your eyes are drawn upward, because rising above everything, dominating the skyline with an almost unreal symmetry, is the Matterhorn. Its sharp, pyramid-like peak cuts into the sky with a presence that feels both powerful and elegant at the same time. There is something about this mountain that goes beyond its physical form. It is not just a landmark. It is a symbol, a constant, unchanging presence that defines the identity of the entire region. Throughout the day, its appearance shifts with the light, revealing different sides of its character. In the early morning, the first rays of sunlight touch its peak, turning it into a glowing silhouette against a pale sky. It feels distant, almost untouchable. As the day progresses, the details become clearer. The ridges, the shadows, the textures of rock and snow all come into focus, giving the mountain a sense of depth and complexity. By afternoon, the contrast becomes stronger. The sky deepens into a rich blue, and the Matterhorn stands out even more sharply, its form defined by light and shadow. It is during this time that the scale becomes most apparent. Standing below, you begin to understand just how immense it truly is. And then comes the evening, when the mountain takes on a completely different presence. The setting sun casts warm tones across its surface, turning gray rock into shades of orange and gold. It is a transformation that feels almost cinematic, as if the entire landscape is part of a carefully composed scene. Beyond the mountain itself, Zermatt offers a network of paths and viewpoints that allow you to experience the landscape from different perspectives. Cable cars and trains carry you higher into the Alps, revealing views that stretch far beyond the village. From above, the world opens up. Peaks rise in every direction, glaciers carve through valleys, and the scale of the region becomes even more apparent. One of the most striking aspects of this area is the presence of ice. Glaciers, ancient and slow-moving, shape the land in ways that feel both powerful and delicate. Their surfaces, marked by cracks and layers, reflect light in subtle ways, creating a texture that feels alive despite its stillness. Walking through these higher elevations, the air becomes thinner, cooler, carrying a clarity that sharpens every sense. The silence deepens, broken only by the sound of wind or the distant shift of ice. It is a reminder of how different this environment is from everyday life. Back in the village, life continues with a quiet elegance. Restaurants serve traditional dishes, shops display carefully crafted goods, and people move through the streets with a sense of calm that matches the surroundings. There is no rush here, no urgency. Everything feels measured, intentional. As night falls, Zermatt reveals another layer of its character. Lights begin to glow softly from windows, reflecting off wooden surfaces and creating a warm contrast against the cool tones of the mountains. The Matterhorn, now a dark silhouette, stands quietly against the star-filled sky. Looking up, the stars appear clearer, brighter, framed by the peaks that surround the village. It is a view that feels both expansive and intimate, a reminder of the scale of the world beyond and the stillness of the moment within it. There is something about Zermatt that stays with you. It is not just the beauty of the mountain or the charm of the village. It is the balance between them, the way nature and human presence coexist without competing, the way everything feels connected, part of a larger whole. The Matterhorn is not just a mountain you look at, it is a presence you feel. It shapes the light, the atmosphere, even the rhythm of the day. And in doing so, it turns a simple destination into something far more meaningful, because this is not just a place you visit for views. It is a place that reminds you of scale, of stillness, of the quiet power of nature. And as you stand there, looking up at one of the most iconic peaks in the world, one realization becomes clear, that sometimes a single place, a single mountain, is enough to redefine everything you thought you knew about beauty. What if I told you there's a lake hidden high in the Swiss Alps where the water is so perfectly turquoise, so impossibly clear, that it looks like it was painted rather than formed by nature? A place where mountains don't just surround you, they reflect back at you with such precision that it feels like standing between two worlds. This is Lake Oceanin, a place that doesn't just look beautiful, it feels unreal the moment you arrive. The journey toward the lake begins quietly, almost gently. From the village below, the path rises steadily into the mountains, moving through forests where sunlight filters softly through tall alpine trees. The air grows cooler with every step, fresher, carrying the scent of pine and earth. There is a sense of anticipation building, not rushed, but constant, as if the landscape itself is guiding you towards something extraordinary. As the trees begin to thin, the first glimpse of the lake appears almost suddenly. A flash of blue through the green, bright and unexpected. And then, as you step further into the open, the full view reveals itself. A wide, calm body of water, surrounded by steep mountain walls that rise sharply into the sky. It is a moment that feels almost cinematic, as if the scene has been waiting to be discovered. The color of Lake Oceanin is what captures you first. A deep, rich turquoise that seems to shift with the light, changing from soft blue to vibrant green depending on the angle of the sun. It is not just a color you see, it is a color you feel, something that adds to the atmosphere, making the entire place feel more alive. The surface of the lake is often still, reflecting the mountains above with remarkable clarity. Peaks, clouds, and sky all mirrored perfectly, creating a sense of symmetry that blurs the line between what is real and what is reflection. It is the kind of view that makes you pause, not because you are told to, but because you naturally do. Along the edges of the lake, small details begin to appear. Wooden boats resting quietly near the shore, their shapes simple and timeless. Rocky paths that curve gently around the water, inviting exploration without urgency. Patches of grass where people sit, not speaking much, simply observing the view in front of them. There is a calm here that feels different from other places. It is not just quiet, but balanced. The mountains are strong and imposing, yet the water softens everything, creating a harmony that feels almost intentional. It is a place where contrast exists, but never clashes. As the day unfolds, the light transforms the lake in subtle but powerful ways. In the morning, everything feels fresh and clear. The water appears almost glass-like, reflecting every detail of the surrounding peaks. By midday, the sunlight intensifies the colors, making the turquoise glow with an almost luminous quality. Then, as the afternoon begins to fade, the entire atmosphere softens. The harshness of direct light disappears, replaced by warmer tones that spread slowly across the landscape. The mountains take on shades of gold and amber, their reflections stretching across the surface of the lake. It is a moment that feels calm, almost reflective, as if the entire environment is slowing down. There is movement here, but it is gentle. a slight breeze passing over the water, creating ripples that distort the reflection for just a moment before it returns to stillness. The distant sound of birds echoing against the cliffs, the quiet rhythm of footsteps along the shore. For those who take the time to explore further, the area around the lake offers more than just the view. Trails lead upward into higher elevations, revealing new perspectives with every step. From above, the lake appears even more striking, its color standing out against the darker tones of the surrounding mountains. These higher viewpoints offer a sense of scale that is difficult to grasp from below. The steepness of the cliffs, the depth of the water, the vastness of the landscape all become more apparent. It is a reminder of how carefully shaped this environment is, how every element contributes to the whole. As evening approaches, Lake Oceanen reveals its most peaceful side. The number of visitors begins to fade, the sounds grow quieter, and the light becomes softer. The lake, now less disturbed, returns to a near-perfect stillness, reflecting the sky as it transitions into deeper shades of blue. The mountains become silhouettes, their sharp outlines standing against the fading light. The air cools, carrying a calm that feels almost meditative. It is a moment where everything feels balanced, where nothing seems out of place. And then, as night begins to settle, the sky opens up above the lake. Stars appear gradually, their reflections adding a new layer to the water below. The scene becomes quieter, more intimate, as if the entire landscape is resting. There is something about Lake Oceanen that stays with you. It is not just the color, or the reflections, or the mountains. It is the feeling of being in a place where everything exists in harmony, where nothing feels forced, where beauty is simply present. It is a place that does not demand attention, yet captures it completely. A place that invites you to slow down, to observe, to feel, rather than just see. And as you stand there, looking across the still water, surrounded by towering peaks and endless sky, one realization becomes clear: that some places are not just beautiful, they are unforgettable. Not because of what they show you, but because of how they make you feel. What if I told you there's a place in Switzerland where the mountains step back for a moment, and in their place, a living tradition quietly takes center stage? A place where time doesn't rush forward, but moves gently through colorful streets, wooden houses, and centuries-old customs still alive today. This is Appenzell, a village that feels less like a destination, and more like stepping into a story that never stopped being told. As you arrive in Appenzell, the first thing that catches your attention is not the scale, but the detail. Narrow streets lined with brightly painted houses create a scene that feels both vibrant and calm at the same time. Each building carries its own identity, with intricate designs, wooden shutters, and colors that range from soft pastels to bold, rich tones. There is a sense of care here that is immediately noticeable. Nothing feels random. Every element, from the placement of signs to the patterns on the walls, seems thoughtfully considered. It creates an environment that feels welcoming, almost personal, as if the village itself is inviting you to slow down and look closer. Unlike the dramatic landscapes of the high Alps, Appenzell offers a different kind of beauty, one that is quieter, more grounded, and deeply connected to everyday life. Here, the mountains still exist, rising gently in the distance, but they do not dominate the scene. Instead, they frame it, providing a natural backdrop to a place shaped by human hands over generations. Walking through the village, you begin to notice the rhythm of life. Shops open their doors slowly, not with urgency, but with intention. Bakeries fill the air with the scent of fresh bread, and small cafes offer spaces where conversations unfold naturally, without distraction. People move through the streets with familiarity, greeting each other not as strangers, but as part of a shared community. There is a warmth in these interactions that feels genuine, not performed. It is a reflection of a way of life that values connection over speed, presence over distraction. Tradition is not something preserved behind glass here. It is lived openly, woven into the fabric of daily life. You see it in the clothing, especially during local events, where traditional garments are worn with pride. You hear it in the music, often played with instruments that have been part of this culture for centuries. And perhaps most strikingly, you feel it in the way the village functions. Decisions, gatherings, and celebrations often reflect customs that have remained unchanged for generations. It creates a sense of continuity, a connection between past and present that feels seamless. Beyond the village center, the landscape opens into rolling green hills, dotted with farmhouses and grazing animals. The transition from street to countryside is almost immediate, as if the boundary between human space and natural space is intentionally blurred. Here, life follows the rhythm of the land. Seasons shape routines, weather influences movement, and nature is not something separate, but something deeply integrated into daily existence. Farmers work the fields with methods that reflect both tradition and adaptation, maintaining a balance that has been refined over time. The soundscape of Appenzell is as unique as its visuals. Instead of constant noise, there is a gentle mix of sounds that feel connected to the environment. The distant ringing of cowbells, the quiet hum of conversation, the soft footsteps on cobblestone streets. It creates an atmosphere that feels calm without being silent, alive without being overwhelming. As the day progresses, the light begins to change, and with it, the entire village transforms. Morning brings a soft clarity, highlighting the colors and details of the buildings. By midday, the brightness enhances the vibrancy of the streets, making everything feel more vivid. Then comes the evening, when the pace slows even further. The light softens into warm tones, casting a gentle glow across the houses and streets. Shadows stretch longer, and the atmosphere becomes more intimate, more reflective. Windows begin to glow from within, small lights adding warmth to the already inviting scene. The village feels quieter now, not empty, but settled, as if it is naturally preparing for rest. Night in Appenzell carries a different kind of beauty. Without the overwhelming lights of larger cities, the sky reveals itself more clearly. Stars appear above the rooftops, adding a sense of depth to the quiet surroundings. There is something deeply comforting about this place. It does not try to impress with scale or intensity. Instead, it offers a sense of balance, of harmony between people, culture, and environment. Appenzell reminds you that beauty does not always need to be dramatic to be powerful. Sometimes it exists in small details, in the way a street is arranged, in the way people interact, in the way traditions continue without interruption. It is a place that invites you to slow down, to observe, to appreciate the simplicity that is often overlooked. A place where every moment feels intentional, where nothing feels rushed or forced. And as you stand there, surrounded by color, tradition, and quiet life, one realization becomes clear: that the true essence of a place is not just found in its landscapes, but in the way people live within them. Because Appenzell is not just a village you visit, it is an experience of culture, of continuity, and of a way of life that feels both timeless and deeply real. What if I told you there's a place in Switzerland where time itself feels frozen, where an ocean of ice stretches? Beyond the pale blue horizon hangs silent, holding thousands of years of frozen history within its edges. This is a Lech Glacier, the largest glacier in the Alps. The journey begins with a slow climb. Every switchback pulls you higher. Lush green valleys fade behind, replaced by sharp rock and lingering summer snow patches. The air grows thinner, sharper, cooler, with a crystal clarity that makes every detail stand out. Then, around a mountain bend, the glacier reveals itself. A massive 2-3 kilometer river of compressed ice, winding between jagged peaks, still and alive. From the overlook, it looks calm, like a pale blue blanket. Lean closer, and deep crevasses cut thousands of feet down. Layered ice holding stories older than human memory. Its vast scale dwarfs the surrounding peaks, stretching far beyond the eye can follow. Into thin mountain mist, the silence here is heavy, deep, absorbing every sound. Even the wind softens, leaving only your heartbeat, the slow, steady pulse of the Alps, unchanging since long before we first climbed these slopes. It feels distant, almost inert. Yet within this absolute stillness, there is quiet movement, slow, almost imperceptible, but never stopping. The glacier is alive. Every new step along the viewpoint path reveals a new perspective. One angle shows a frozen river winding through sharp peaks. Another, a vast plain of solid ice textured with ridges carved by centuries of pressure. The ice holds layered shades, pale blue, storm gray, faint frosty green, shifting with sun in depth. Jagged mountains stand as ancient witnesses around the glacier, their rough, cracked rock contrasting the ice's smooth, cold texture. This landscape is all extremes. Soft, slow movement meets hard, unchanging rock. Stillness meets constant drift. held in delicate, unbroken balance. Changing light transforms the glacier through the day. Even if you stand and watch for 10 minutes, you miss most of its slow changes. This is the glacier's secret. It moves when we are not looking, and it outlives every one of us. Dawn cracks over the glacier, every sharp ridge an ancient scar, glowing clear in the first light. Overnight wind stripped loose snow, exposing centuries of slow, hidden movement. As afternoon fades, long shadows stretch across the ice. Low sunlight slants between ridges, turning high crests, brilliant white, and plunging crevices into deep, near-black blue. You can almost feel the hundreds of feet of cold ice stretching down to the rock below. Evening softens the light, turning ice to shifting shades of gold and cold blue. No wind stirs, only the faint, distant creak of the glacier's slow, constant march. For a perfect suspended moment, everything holds still. Glacier, mountains, sky. Even your breath hangs quiet in the cold air, time itself seeming to pause. As night falls, uncountable stars blaze bright across the clear, high-altitude sky. Standing before this ancient ice, all the small worries of daily life melt away. You are caught between centuries of slow glacial movement and the infinite vast sky above. Stand perfectly still on a Lech Glacier's ice, and everything changes. All your daily worries feel smaller. Time slows to a crawl. Time here is no longer counted in days or years. It is counted in centuries, in geologic epochs stretching back billions of years. This is no mere bucket list checkpoint. It is a reminder of Earth's raw, unstoppable power. It reminds you the planet reshapes itself slowly. Over time, no human mind can fully grasp. This place asks nothing of you. No photos, no fees, no forced attention. Yet it gives a perspective you find nowhere else. Beauty is not always warm, soft sunsets, or welcoming green meadows. Sometimes beauty is cold, distant, vast beyond all human measure. And in that vastness, you set your small worries aside, reconnecting to the planet's older, larger story. Some places are beautiful, not for how they look, but what they represent. In another Swiss valley, silence isn't empty, it's alive. This is Engadin, where open space lets you finally slow down and breathe. This is not the overwhelming vastness of open ocean. It is a soft, breathing openness. Engadin Valley unfolds before you, framed by soft, distant mountains. The light here is like nothing you have ever seen. Clear, crisp, and almost bouncing off every surface. It brushes the lakes and rivers, making them glow softly, as if they hold tiny lights under their skin. Dry, fresh air carries a faint, cold bite that wakes every one of your senses. Lakes are the beating heart of this valley. Their glass-smooth surfaces mirror sky and mountains. You can barely tell where water ends and land begins. One minute they glow deep, rich blue. The next shift to soft silver or warm gold, following the sun's path. Walking the shore, you feel a slow rhythm. Soft water lapping at stone, wind humming across the expanse. Small stone villages scattered through the valley share this quiet harmony, blending into the land around them. No one hurries here. This valley does not shout its beauty, it wraps around you slow and lets you breathe it in, one quiet step at a time. Every structure here holds a quiet, personal touch. Carved frames, hand-laid stone, potted wildflowers. Each building has its own identity, yet all blend naturally into the hillside, grown from the surrounding land. Life here moves gently, with no rush, no honking cars, no crowded sidewalks. People walk to market with wicker baskets, cycle along clover-lined gravel lanes, or sit on lakeside benches, breathing pine-scented air and watching glassy water. Further in, the terrain shifts gently. Rolling sheep-dotted fields give way to quiet pine forests. Tall pines weave a cool green canopy over shaded paths, with no sharp line between meadow and woods. Wildlife appears unexpectedly. Chaffinches burst from underbrush. A red fox pauses, then vanishes. Herons glide slow across the sky. These brief moments add quiet life that enhances, never breaks, the valley's stillness. Engadin Valley offers subtle, lasting calm instead of dramatic extremes. As the day goes on, light shifts. Hazy morning gilds hills. Midday brightens colors. Evening wraps the valley in a warm, quiet glow that holds you steady. By 6 p.m. in Engadin Valley, the sun begins its slow shift. Harsh midday blue melts to warm golden tones. Light spills soft over hills, gilding wild grass blades bending in the faint breeze. Distant mountain outlines bleed into a hazy pink sky. This change is gradual, almost unnoticeable until you look away and return. Evening here holds a quiet, meditative beauty. Glacial lakes go still, their ripples fading to nothing. Noon's gusting wind softens to barely stir pine needles. The whole landscape settles into complete calm. Your to-do list, phone, and plans all fade. The present moment feels perfectly enough, just as it is. Then night falls. With almost no light pollution for hundreds of miles, the sky reveals its full depth. Inky black shimmers with faint layers of purple and blue. Stars bloom one by one, their light doubling in reflection on the still dark lake. Deep silence wraps around you like a cool wool shawl, warm and present. This valley rewrites how you experience stillness. Small, subtle details grow sharp when you slow down. A trout breaking the surface, pine scent on the breeze. It teaches you to observe, not rush. Engadin is not just for postcards, it teaches you to feel alive. Right here, right now. Not all beauty needs drama to be powerful. Sometimes it lives in calm, in balance, in quiet landscapes that don't demand attention, but never let you go. In the Swiss Alps, there is a place where the path itself is the thrill. Grindelwald First Cliff Walk. The journey starts below, in cobblestone lanes between pastel chalets, with soft cowbells in the breeze. You step into the glass cable car, and the ground falls away. Forests shrink to green patterns, rivers glint like silver, and mountains reveal their overwhelming scale. Anticipation builds in your chest. Then, you arrive. A steel path bolted to the rock, suspended over a 500-meter drop. The first step sends a jolt through you. You can see straight through the grated steel to the valley below. To your left, snow-dusted rock rises steep. To your right, endless open air in the rolling Jungfrau Alps. Fear tightens your shoulders, then melts into awe. You step forward, breath filling with crisp mountain air. This is the power of quiet, balanced beauty. It doesn't scream for attention, it just holds you and never lets you go. Solid concrete meets your boots. Swirling open air carries an unshakable feeling. You grip the cold metal handrail and lean forward, gazing down at the valley, stretching miles below your feet. It unfolds like a patchwork quilt. Deep green alfalfa blocks, winding dirt paths, tiny distant rooftops hidden by pines. Turning, you see jagged, snow-capped peaks catching midday sun, stretching endlessly beyond the horizon against bright blue sky. The cliff path follows the mountain's curve. Graded panels under your feet let you look straight down 1,000 feet. Cold air rushes up, leaving you suspended between rock and sky. This place holds a unique balance. Height buzzes excitement through your bones, sharpens your awareness, while the vast landscape wraps you in deep, unshakable peace. Every step opens a new view. Every shift of light changes the scene entirely. No two steps on this cliff walk ever show you the same landscape. I step onto the metal walkway at 6 a.m. Crisp morning air burns through every haze. Pine needles glint far below on the slope. Every crack in the rock face stands sharp enough to touch. By midday, the brightness climbs higher, and colors bleed brighter than an hour before. Snow on the highest peaks crunches, whiter under distant wind. The sky sinks into deep, saturated blue. Contrast stings your eyes. The whole landscape hums alive, thrumming with unspoken, crackling energy. By early afternoon, light softens at the edges. It no longer bites at your skin. Long shadows stretch slow across lower slopes, wrapping the air warm, inviting you to stop and stare. As evening creeps closer, the change swells dramatic. The sun dips low behind western peaks, spilling honeyed gold across every surface. The mountains blush from gold to soft orange, then pale rose along highest ridges. It doesn't feel real. Like a painter laid down soft layers of color one by one. I stand at the walkway edge, stillness settling over the height. When the sun vanishes, the sky bleeds purple. One by one, stars prick through dark. The mountains loom heavy, and I lean against the rail, alone with the quiet. You step onto the Grindelwald First Cliff Walk. The first thing hits you is space. A planked wooden path hangs 1,000 meters above the deep valley floor. Your boots tap softly on the wood. Below, green alpine meadows stretch like a stitched quilt. Snow-capped peaks cut sharp lines against bright blue sky. Every gust of wind wraps around your shoulders. Nothing between you and the mountains, but thin, cold air. This thrill is something no photo can ever capture. To truly know a landscape, you have to leave your comfort zone. You don't just see peaks, you stand on their edge. You feel the drop under your feet. The most powerful views are not the ones you see only with your eyes. They are the ones you feel in your whole body. The true heart of Switzerland is not just its peaks. It is the quiet, intentional rhythm of local life. When you slow down, you feel it. Simple, steady, endlessly alive. Slow living in Switzerland is not a trendy fad. It is a quiet, daily practice, woven deeply into the land and the people who call it home. Across scattered alpine villages, mornings arrive without urgency. Golden light creeps over green hills, touches wooden chalets, and illuminates small details missed in faster lives. Carved frames, mossy foundations, bright geraniums. Each gets its moment to shine. Cool mountain air drifts through cobblestone streets, and the day starts with calm, not noise. Consistent, precise routines build quiet trust, but this order is never cold. In places like Appenzell, centuries-old traditions blend seamlessly with modern life, feeling natural, not forced. Weekly village markets bring this culture to life. Fresh crusty bread, aged local cheese, hand-carved bowls, woven linen. No rush between stalls. There's time for slow conversation, for exchanging quiet stories. Meals are shared slowly around wooden tables, appreciated fully, not hurried between obligations. Beyond the villages, wide mountains stretch under blue skies, holding the same gentle, slow rhythm that shapes every day here. Tucked between forested Swiss slopes, small villages sit peacefully among rolling green hills. Stone walls cut gently through pastures. Life here follows the slow, steady rhythm of the seasons. Summer brings thick meadow grass, hay cutting before storms, hiking crowds, and cheese wheels. Winter wraps everything in thick snow, calling for quiet preparation. This cycle of seasons has stood unchanged for generations. The most striking part of Swiss culture is its relationship with nature. It is not a distant luxury locked behind fences. It is part of everyday life. Worn dirt paths lead straight from village doorsteps into forests and mountains. Mothers stroll with strollers. Workers eat lunch under sunlit trees. Life moves with quiet purpose, balanced between work and connection. As evening falls, children head home for dinner. Warm window lights glow against twilight blue. The sun dips below alpine peaks, and the streets slowly quiet. Shop shutters clatter down. Cafe terraces empty, leaving folded chairs and crumpled napkins in cool breeze. It is time for rest, connection, stepping away from daily routine. Families gather over shared meals and stories. Neighbors exchange quick doorsteps, greetings before night falls. Noise fades into stillness. No car horns, no blaring pop music, only rustling pines and a distant gurgling mountain stream. Clear dark skies, free of light pollution, reveal thousands of sharp, glowing stars. This life is deeply grounding, rooted in simplicity and balance. Old farmhouses stand beside modern efficient cottages. Grandmothers make cheese with centuries-old recipes, while grandchildren sell it online. Switzerland's hidden secret is not its landscapes alone, it is this harmony. Nature and human life coexisting without conflict. No one clears whole valleys to build sprawling resorts. No one paves over ancient meadows for endless parking lots. The true beauty of Switzerland is not in its postcard views. It is this quiet, intentional rhythm of life that stays with you, unforgettable, long after you return home. Have you ever traveled to a place you can't point to on a map? It's not a spot, but a soft, lingering feeling that stays with you long after you leave. This is the final stop of our journey across Switzerland, but not the end of what it leaves behind. After days winding through hidden valleys, walking beside silent lakes, standing before glaciers, and meeting locals keeping ancient traditions alive, you change. You stop seeing it as a checklist of destinations and start feeling it as one continuous, breathing experience. Mountains, water, light, and life blend into something larger than geography. They become memories shaped by sensation. The sharp, cold alpine air filling your lungs, the echo of waterfalls off valley rocks, golden light on ice and stone, still alpine lakes that feel like mirrors to another world, all merge into one unbroken impression. Switzerland reveals itself slowly, layer by layer, with quiet confidence in its natural beauty. Every peak belongs, and that feeling? It never really leaves you. Every part of this alpine land holds gentle, unforced balance. Jagged peaks rise without screaming for attention. glacial rivers flow without rushing blindly to the sea. Between sharp peaks and deep valleys, ordinary life moves steadily forward. Villagers wake when morning shadows still cling to the mountains. Lakeside towns greet dawn with soft water reflections, not blaring car horns. High in the alpine snow, time is counted by seasons, not ticking clocks. This land earns your focus slowly, one quiet step at a time. Even first-time visitors soon feel it. Vast landscapes become a part of you. Distant peaks feel right at your feet. Mountain silence is no empty void. It holds wind, cracking ice, running water, and hidden life all around you. When the final golden day spills across the peaks, everything slows. Snow-capped tops glow pink against darkening sky. All outside noise falls away, leaving only the quiet balance that has held here for thousands of years. When the sun dips below jagged alpine peaks, mountain ridges turn to dark silhouettes. They stand as quiet witnesses over rolling green meadows and glacial lakes streaked with melted ice. This is when the journey stops being about places. It becomes about perspective. After seeing landscapes like these, distance, silence, even time feel different. You check your watch a third time and forget why you looked. You start to understand. Beauty is not always scale or spectacle. It is not the tallest peak or widest waterfall you post online. Sometimes it is about balance. How pines line the slope perfectly. How the stream cuts through the valley without force. Nature does not compete for attention. It simply exists, fully and completely. This is what Switzerland leaves you with. Not just photos or memories, but a new way of seeing. You don't leave Switzerland behind you, carry it forward, forever changing how you notice the world. This is more than just a travel destination. It is a reminder that the world still holds spaces where nature leads, and everything else follows. There are no billboards shouting for your attention, no notifications buzzing in your pocket, only ancient rock that stood here long before humans, and wind that has blown for thousands of unbroken years. You don't leave these landscapes behind when you drive away. You carry them with you. Once you've stood in places like these, your ideas of distance, silence, and beauty all change. Silence is not empty. It hums with glacier wind, gliding birds, and your own slow heartbeat. Beauty is raw, alive, unfiltered, and it sticks to your boots and your memory forever. If this journey inspired you, support this channel, stay connected, and keep exploring with curiosity. Until next time, stay present, stay curious, and look beyond what you